Livia Lee, a sophomore at Penn High School, is preparing to head to Fort Lauderdale, Florida to compete in the Speech and Debate National Competition in the Domestic Extemporaneous category. She had to go through the district and state competitions to qualify for the national competition. Her coach, Jeremy Starkweather, is a teacher at Penn High School and a first-year speech and debate coach, and he is already studying her to nationals. Starkweather said Lee has worked hard for this competition and has a future in speech and debate. Lee told us a little bit about how the competition works and how she prepares to compete.
For qualifying for the national tournament, you have to go through the districts tournament first, which is basically a regional. The regional this year was 3 preliminary rounds, and then the top 12 people that had the best scores through those would go to the semifinals. And then after that, you'd do another round and then finals. So the top 2 people overall throughout the districts tournament advance. Right before I compete, I always like to make sure that I'm on top of the really recent events, such as if I have a tournament that day, then I want to wake up in the morning and check and see if anything else has occurred, just to make sure that I'm on top of the analysis. And I also want to make sure that I know what kind of evidence I have and what kind of reading that I've done to make sure that when I do draw those questions, I can ensure that I have the proper answers and I'm prepared to answer those questions. Teammates are all relatively new because Penn has a relatively small speech team. It's pretty small, but it's a really tight-knit community. They've always provided each other, and me especially, with support, and I'd really appreciate them for doing so. We always have fun during practices, and we can also get serious when it comes to that. So I'm really proud of my team, and I'm really happy that I'm part of Penn's speech team.
Starkweather also gave us some comment on how the speech and debate competition season went and how Lee performed this year.
Livia Lee is only a sophomore and she's already qualifying for nationals, which I think kind of says a lot about her. She's super smart, totally determined, hard worker. She's emailing me constantly with questions, and I think probably out of many of my students, she's one of the most hard workers, and she totally deserves to go. So she's put forth the effort into this year, and I'm really excited to spend a week in Florida competing at the national tournament. So we actually had an awesome team. We had an awesome year. It's a ton of fun. We have a great group of people that we get to hang out every Wednesday with after school, and we read poetry and we speak and practice our public speaking every week. We had a couple pretty good success stories at our state competition. We had Gabby Bessie make it to the quarterfinals, and Anya Tang made it all the way to the semifinals as a freshman. And Livia Lee in United States Extemporaneous Speaking actually qualified for the national tournament this year in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So that's pretty exciting.